It was Valentine's Day just a few days ago. And this is a day that people get to celebrate with their partners and buy them flowers, chocolates, like stuffed animals, cute gifts, love cards. They go on dates and just have a great time, you know, happy days. For other people, including myself, this is a day where we're just upset and bummed out throughout the whole day because we don't have a Valentine to spend with. And like for me, I'm almost 21 now, and basically I've had 20 Valentine's days so far, like including the one this year, and I have not had a Valentine once. Not once. And I'm not exactly trying to say that as like seeking for sympathy. I'm literally just stating a fact here. But and honestly, for me this year, it was actually kind of even more of a sad day because just the day before that, February 13th, is when my favorite TV show, Cobra Kai, dropped its final batch of episodes on that day. Like it was split into 3 parts, the final season. They dropped their last 5 episodes on that day, and I watched them all through, and it was like basically just the end of a TV show I adore. But that's beside the point. So growing up, especially in my teenage and adult years, it always bothered me not having a girlfriend. And don't ask me why. That's just kind of something I always desired when I was young. And I think a lot of people can understand that because as you grow up, it's something that your body just continually craves, you know? But it's not a girlfriend, it's not a boyfriend that you really want. It's just love and intimacy. Because I truly believe at one point in anyone's life, everyone deserves to feel love and intimacy. Like we were never meant to go through life alone. That was never supposed to be the case. But in today's video, I wanted to talk about the fact that you could literally have the most beautiful or handsome, most funny, charming, kind boyfriend or girlfriend you could ever have in this world, and it still won't satisfy you. Because really, if you really want to seek love and intimacy, there's only one person you need to look to, and that person is Jesus. Unfortunately, a relationship with a man or a woman, it really like puts you on a pedestal. If that becomes your main focus in life, it puts you up here while it puts everyone else down here. And like, let me put it this way. Like, let's say you have the most perfect, amazing partner. Let's say the perfect partner that you like created in your head. Let's say they're out there and you found them, right? Like they're super kind, they're beautiful, they're handsome, they're funny, they're just everything you could ever want in a partner, right? But if they're properly human, if they're actually human, they won't always fulfill your desires or always meet your expectations 100% of the time. Maybe like 50% of the time, 60 if you're lucky. But if they're human, they won't always meet those expectations. And so because of that, like I said, because you're like up here, you kind of start getting disappointed. And when you get disappointed, you lose feelings and you start to compare. And then you just like say, you know what, we're done. I'm just gonna move on to the next person. And I promise you, take this from me, I promise you, if you continue this cycle, you will never find your person. You're never going to find them. Because the thing is, the perfect partner doesn't exist. The truth is, we have all sinned against God, and we have all fallen short of God's glory. Like, if there's one similarity between all of us, rather than like what we're made out of, that is it. We have all sinned against the glory of God. And even if that wasn't the case, every single human being on earth, we are all different in countless ways. So many ways. Like, I would say probably more than the grains of sand on this earth. That's how different we are. You know? And if you continue to try to find someone who like loves everything you love, they play your favorite sports or video games with you, or board games, depending on what you like, and they love you, cherish you, support you, they have your back, you know, and like really like every expectation you meet in your head, if you continue to try and find that person that meets every last one of those expectations, don't take this the wrong way, but you might as well date yourself. Like, honestly, that's the truth. No one really knows you as much as you know yourself. No one in this world, anyway. But, there is a but. I know someone who knows you more than you know yourself. More than you could ever know about yourself. And that person is Jesus. Like, Psalm 139 talks about how before God even created the world, he knew you. But like, he knit you together piece by piece in your mother's womb. Excuse me. And this is a fact that still blows my mind to this day. But it took God 6 days, just a little under a week, to create the world and everything in it. But it took him 9 months to create you. How awesome is that? So because God knows you way more than you could ever know yourself, he knows exactly what, when, and how you want something, including your future spouse. Like your future spouse is only one thing. When it comes to everything in life, he knows exactly how you want it. But I don't want that to excite you too much, because we all get confused as human beings that if we if we find the perfect spouse, if we have a successful business or job, and we have like 2, 3, 5, 7 beautiful children, then if we have all of those things and potentially more, like nice cars, a nice house, whatever you like, then we've won in life. But that could not be further from the truth, my friends. Life has never been about that. Life has never been about yourself. It's never been about like pursuing your dreams and trying to like get the nicest cars, get the nicest house, have the most beautiful feminine wife or the most handsome masculine husband. It's never been about that. Life has been and will forever be about serving the one who created us. So to find a godly spouse, the first thing you must do is you have to focus on your relationship with God first. Because God created you, both you and your future spouse. And so, of course, if you want to get to them, you have to go through God first. Like, he has to forge you and fully flesh you out, turn you into the man or woman that your future husband or wife needs you to be. But even if that wasn't the case, you still need to focus on a relationship with God before anyone else. Anyone else, including your own parents. And because the first thing we have to understand is that we have to remember that God is love. Like 1 John 4:16 talks about exactly that fact, that God is love. And without God, there is no love. Like the most popular verse in the Bible, John 3:16. Like, it is the entirety of God's love summarized in one sentence. And listen to this. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. That's all one sentence, and that fully expresses God's love. God loved you so much that he sent his own Son to die for you. And it's not because he loves you more than his own Son. God doesn't show favoritism. But it's because that is what he was willing to give just to see you in heaven with him.
If that's not love, I don't know what is.
Now, do you guys remember when, like, earlier in this video when I talked about how you're, like, however high your expectations are, they put you on a pedestal? Well, loving and serving God, who already has met every single one of your expectations and more, does something else to you. It does something better for you. It humbles you. Putting yourself on a pedestal is pride. Stepping off of that pedestal is humility. And humility is so unbelievably important in relationships. Like, not just marriage, but things like really relationships with anyone in your life. Like your dad, your mom, your brother, your sister, your extended family, like even your best friend, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, but most importantly, it's so important in your relationship with God. Because humility is understanding that you're not a perfect person. Like, the person watching this video, you're no exception. No one in this world is perfect. Absolutely no one. No one is even good. No one in this world is even good. I'm definitely not good. You're definitely not good. And that's not to offend you. That's a literal fact. Like, there's another psalm that talks about that. I don't remember which one it is, but I know for a fact there's another psalm that talks about how no one does good except the Lord. Humility is understanding that you're not perfect, and because you're human, you're going to make mistakes. And even though, no matter how much you love a person, you're going to hurt them, and they're going to hurt you. And it's not because they hate you, it's because they're human and they make mistakes. But after you hurt that person, regardless if it's by mistake or on purpose, it's going to happen. But after you do that, you have a choice. You either A, let your pride get in the way, and you just stay mad at them for not agreeing with you, and you just hold a grudge against them, and you let that black hole in your heart just fill and get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until you no longer love this person, and you walk up to them and say, hey, I want nothing to do with you. We're done. I'm out. That's option A. Option B, you humble yourself. You understand that you did wrong, that you were wrong, and that you hurt this person deliberately. And you go to them, seek their forgiveness, and if they're willing to forgive you, you learn from your mistakes and become a better person. Nothing really expresses our love as much as humility does. Like, literally, God himself did that. And this is like the most shocking thing to realize, because when God came to earth, he could have literally come in as the all-powerful and fearful God that he is. He could have had all the money he could have ever wanted, all the servants. He could have been like Pharaoh, except good, obviously. He could have been he could have been the king of all kings on earth. But he didn't do that. He didn't do that. He came to earth as a human baby, born from a regular woman's womb. And he lived a life where he was poor, and he became a carpenter and built things for people. He made disciples and sent all of them to do God's work, even though he could have done it all himself. He could have done all of it himself, but he sent other people to do it. And the most humbling of them all, in his last 24 hours of living, he washed feet. Like, before he died, the most excruciating and painful death just to pay for our sins. That's what our God is. That's who our God is. This is why it is so essential to come before God every time we make a mistake or fall back into sin. Because once you realize that you're not as perfect of a person as you think, or even as good of a person as you think, it really humbles you. Like, so much. It humbles you before God and before your spouse. And because of that, because you realize just how imperfect you are, and this really depends on how you take it, but if you take it right, if you take it properly, it pushes you to become really become the best version of yourself, and it reminds you that every single day you are living in love and forgiveness. Now, if you get one thing from this video, let it be this. Having a godly woman or a godly man to spend the rest of your life with is not the goal. It never has been. Your first and foremost goal in your life should always be having and maintaining a loving, intimate, personal relationship with your Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. That is the only way to live life. That is the best way to live life. Because if you live your whole life without knowing your spouse, you're completely fine. But if you go your whole life without knowing Jesus, you're toast. No pun intended. We've all believed at one point in our lives that this godly spouse of ours is our other half. Okay. At one point, we have all believed that this godly spouse that God has created for us, they're basically our other half. That's what we all believed at one point. But that could not be further from the truth. That this other spouse of ours, they're never going to fulfill us. Jesus is our other half. That has always been the case. I mean, Jesus is still everything without us, but we are nothing without him. Everything and nothing. You mix everything with nothing, you get everything. Double. And the fact is, Jesus desired us so much that he gave his own life, his own perfect, sinless life on the cross to die for our sins so we wouldn't have to pay the price ourselves and we could go into heaven and be with him for all of eternity. And that, my friends, that is what love is. It was Valentine's Day just a few days ago. And this is a day when people get to celebrate with their partners, whether it's they're just they're basically just everything you could ever want. But if they're human, if they're actually a proper human being, my phone is shaking so much, always fulfill, okay, wait. Can you stay still, please? Alright, we're good. But it took God 6 days, little under a week, to create the world itself and everything in it. But it took him 9 months. 9 months. What is this? That is not 9. Oh my gosh. So of course you need to focus on him in order to fully become, in order for him to fully flesh you out and just turn you into the man or woman that your future okay, all right. But the first thing you got to remember is that God is love. God is love. 1 John 4:19, 4:16. Sorry. It was Valentine. Really? Dude, I'll get back to you. Okay. Sometimes go against them just for your own pride. Either on purpose or by mistake. Sorry, my computer. And I would gloat. I can't speak. No, it's important in all relationships. Like whether it's, oh gosh, itchy nose. Okay. You understand that you were wrong and that you hurt this person. Oh my gosh. Can you take it easy? Take it easy. I'm getting cocky. Okay. Let's drink some water. But I don't want that to excite you too much, because as human beings, we all get confused that once we find a beautiful partner or a handsome partner, something out of my parents.